Welcome back to the channel. Is Manny the greatest pound-for-pound fighter? Who knows, but he has a great case to make for it. Here is why. Manny Pacquiao's life has been like something out of a movie. From the slums of the Philippines, living in poverty, to fighting on the street, to feed his family, to hearing his name chanted in packed stadiums across the world, a hero arose. And as a fighter, he has been almost unparalleled in his accomplishments. He has so few peers in boxing that he is in the conversation for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Only a few names are in the same class: Muhammad Ali, Pernell Whitaker, Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Henry Armstrong, Harry Greb. Here are 20 reasons why Manny Pacquiao, all 5'5", 145 pounds of him, is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Emmanuel Dupadrin Pacquiao was born on December 17, 1978 in Kibawe, Philippines, a small, impoverished province in the municipality of Bukidnon. He was the fourth of 6 children born to Rosalio and Dionisia Pacquiao, and the level of poverty he was born into can't be overstated. When he was 11 years old, things got worse. Rosalio left the family to live with another woman, making Dionisia a single mother and planting the seeds in Manny Pacquiao's head that he would be willing to do whatever it took to rise above the dire circumstances into which he was born. Pacquiao began fighting for money in the hard-scrabble streets of the Philippines when he was just 12 years old, 1 year after his father left his mother and his 5 siblings to fend for themselves. Why did he do it? According to Pacquiao, it was just a case of supply and demand. The street fights needed fighters at different weight levels. Pacquiao needed money and knew that you got paid win or lose, 100 pesos to the winner, 50 pesos a dollar to the loser. That money would feed himself and his family for a few days. He had no formal training, just a request to tape his hands up and point him at a target. Manny Pacquiao has won titles at a dizzying clip. His first came in 1997 with a knockout of Chakay Chakvavat to claim the OPBF flyweight title when Pacquiao was just 18 years old. Then he went on to become the first man to win 8 division titles: welterweight, junior welterweight, featherweight, junior middleweight, lightweight, junior lightweight, flyweight. At one point, he held a record 12 titles from different boxing federations spread out over the 8 divisions. Perhaps the most impressive was his 11-round TKO of Marco Antonio Barrera to win the featherweight title in 2003. The fight when Pacquiao entered the discussion of greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. One thing no one can say about Pacquiao is that he's not heavily invested in his home country. The people of the Philippines have benefited from Pacquiao's success as much as anyone throughout his 20-plus years atop the boxing world. He's given plenty back, but he's also leveraged his fame and money to put himself in a position of power. In a country known for fixed elections and a corrupt political system, Pacquiao served 2 terms in the House of Representatives and is currently serving a 6-year term as a senator that ends in 2022. That's the same year the Philippines holds its next presidential election, and he's already being looked at as a heavy favorite. Pacquiao's rise through the boxing ranks coincided with his bank account doing the same thing. In no small way, he's been one of 2 or 3 boxers who have kept the sport alive financially through the last decade-plus drought of having a marketable heavyweight champion. How'd he do it? Pacquiao's 25 pay-per-view fights have generated a reported $1.2 billion in revenue, with his 2015 bout against Floyd Mayweather Jr., dubbed the Fight of the Century, generating an estimated $400 million on 4.6 million buys. The bottom line for Pacquiao is a net worth hovering around $220 million, according to website Celebrity Net Worth. There used to be a debate about who the greatest left-handed boxer of all time was. Was it Marvin Hagler? Was it Pernell Whitaker? Was it Joe Calzaghe? Thank goodness for Pacquiao, we don't have to keep that debate going, because he's the one. With titles in 4 of the 8 glamour divisions in boxing, Pacquiao was able to do things southpaws of years past could only dream of doing, including having a fabled relationship with trainer Freddie Roach. Roach guided Pacquiao to wins over Oscar De La Hoya, Antonio Margarito, Ricky Hatton, Joshua Clottey, Miguel Cotto, Eric Morales, and Marco Antonio Barrera, among others. Okay, so some of this might be tongue-in-cheek, but we have to give Pacquiao props for taking his boxing prowess and thinking it meant he could do anything. And we mean anything. This guy doesn't want to just limit himself to throwing hands. He's a multi-term politician, as a member of the Filipino House of Representatives, and now a senator. He's a professional basketball player at 5'5", who took the court for several teams in the Philippine Basketball Association that he owned shares of. He's a singer who put out 3 albums. He's an actor with a Filipino comedy sitcom called Show Me to Manny that lasted for 98 episodes. Pacquiao has never made a point of flaunting his celebrity connections. On the flip side, celebrities have never shied away from fanboying over Pacquiao or celebrating the champion boxer. The most notable of those has been actor Mark Wahlberg, star of one of the greatest boxing films of all time, The Fighter, in which he portrayed Irish Mickey Ward. Once the film came out and was an Oscar-nominated hit, Wahlberg made a point of talking about how much he modeled his fighting after Pacquiao and how often he went and visited Pacquiao when he was training at a gym in Los Angeles. No one has more nicknames than Pacquiao, which is one of the most endearing tips of the hat any athlete can get from fans, media, and opponents. Here's a look at all of them, with one-word reactions to each nickname in parentheses. Pac-Man, perfect. The People's Champ, generic. The Mexicutioner, earned. Pambasang Kamau, the National Fist, cool. The Fighting Pride of the Philippines, corny. The Fighting Congressman, accurate. The Destroyer, so-so. Kid Kulafu, confusing. Ninong Manny, Godfather Manny, yawn. The Fighting Senator, accurate. The Mexican Killer, nope. MP, succinct. The Living Legend, yawn. The Legendary, repetitive. 8-division champ, true. The Ageless Warrior, epic. It didn't end up being one of the greatest fights of all time, mainly because they fought it about 6 years too late. But the 2015 fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao didn't lack for hype, and it ended up being one of the most profitable fight in history. Mayweather controversially was administered intravenous fluids before the fight and defeated Pacquiao in a 12-round unanimous decision, a plotting, boring 12 rounds. "I thought I won the fight," Pacquiao said. "He didn't do nothing." But the real winner was the bottom line. The fight was projected to gross $270 million on pay-per-view and raked in a stunning $410 million, with the boxers splitting the first $160 million right down the middle. ESPN's Max Kellerman is respected as one of the best in the world when it comes to boxing analysts. He poses the question about what qualifies a boxer to be in the best pound-for-pound discussion that he admits he stole from baseball sabermetrics guru Bill James. How do you judge the boxer? Is it by how they were at their best or over the course of their careers? With Pacquiao, the argument goes that he is in the conversation because he made a point of fighting outside of his natural weight class so he could fight against better competition, which makes him one of the best to ever do it. The trajectory of Pacquiao's career can be traced to winning 3 fights over the course of 1 year. Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, and Miguel Cotto from December 2008 through November 2009. These 3 fights made Pacquiao an international superstar in boxing and also put him on the path to the fight of the century against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in 2015. Pundits thought that the leap to welterweight to fight De La Hoya at the 147-pound welterweight limit in 2008 would be too much for Pacquiao, who won the fight after 8 rounds when De La Hoya's corner threw in the towel in what is considered the worst beating of the Golden Boy's career. Pacquiao made between $15 million to $20 million on the fight, which had the second biggest gate in history. After going up 2 divisions to fight Oscar De La Hoya with no titles on the line, but a lot of cash, Pacquiao went back down 1 division to light welterweight to fight Ricky Hatton with quite a bit on the line. Fighting for Hatton's IBO, the ring and lineal light welterweight titles, Pacquiao was efficient and brutal. He knocked Hatton down twice in the first round, but Hatton seemed to recover in the second round, battling back and stalking Pacquiao around the ring. It was a mirage. Pacquiao snapped back and hit Hatton with a vicious left hook with just seconds left in the round, knocking him out cold and stopping the fight. It was Ring Magazine's 2009 Knockout of the Year. This fight is when the call for Pacquiao to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. went from a slight buzz to a roar. Fighting for Miguel Cotto's WBO welterweight title, the WBO Super Championship, and a specially made WBC Diamond Championship belt, Pacquiao and Cotto agreed to fight at a catchweight of 145 pounds in November 2009, even though the welterweight division technically goes up to 147 pounds. Pacquiao picked up steam as the fight went along, destroying Cotto's face until a 12th round TKO made him the first man to hold 7 division titles and 4 titles in the glamour divisions. The greatest fighters each have something in common when it comes to controversy. It seems to follow them around. Manny Pacquiao has been no different. The 2 most serious incidents have been a tax evasion case in 2013 brought against him by the Philippines Bureau of Internal Revenue, which accused Pacquiao of not paying $41.2 million in taxes in 2008 and 2009 from fights in the U.S., a case which was dropped in 2018. The second incident came after Pacquiao made anti-gay and anti-same-sex marriage comments in 2016 to a Filipino television station. That cost him his sponsorship deal with Nike. Pacquiao has never backed off those comments. The reason Pacquiao has had such longevity and was atop most pound-for-pound best boxer lists for a good portion of his career has been his willingness to go out and fight the best fighters who were willing to fight him. That list includes an unbelievable 22 world champions: Chechai Sasakul, Lelehonola Ledwaba, Jorge Lesser Julio, Marco Antonio Barrera twice, Eric Morales twice, Oscar Larios, Jorge Solis, Juan Manuel Marquez twice, David Diaz, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, Joshua Clottey, Antonio Margarito, Shane Mosley, Brandon Rios, Timothy Bradley twice, Chris Algieri, Jesse Vargas, Lucas Mathis, Adrian Broner, and Keith Thurman. That's a lot of fighters who, at one point in their careers, could say they were the best. While most champion fighters can claim to be popular in the country where they're from, only Pacquiao can claim the kind of worldwide recognition usually given to just the top soccer players in the world. To be clear, no fighter has more worldwide recognition than Manny Pacquiao, and only 2 other fighters in the history of boxing can claim as much: Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, who were both heavyweights. Pacquiao may have had to endure the taunts and barbs from his opponents before fights almost the entirety of his career. After the fight has been much different. Fighter after fighter who has gotten into the ring against Pacquiao has come out saying things that all fall in line. The first and most obvious is that they were too cocky, which is understandable. There is nothing intimidating about 5'5" and 145 pounds. The next things are much more tangible. They talk about the speed with which Pacquiao moves, to the point where they feel like they are having to guess where he's at sometimes. And then there's the velocity. This was a man who was ready to go toe-to-toe and brawl with anyone if he had to, but speed and power, that's too much. With Pacquiao being a native Filipino, it's no surprise he's taken over as one of the most recognizable athletes in the Asian world. But the true test has been conquering hearts and minds in the United States and Europe, where his skill in the ring seemed to transcend everything. While this approach might be the antithesis of what a big-time boxer is to some, it's just never been Manny Pacquiao. When he's had the chance to trash talk, he hasn't. An interesting aside about Pacquiao is that several times, including with Floyd Mayweather Jr., there has been a lot of trash talk coming from the opposing side leading up to a fight, or in anticipation of a fight. But Pacquiao has always tried to clear the air by talking one-on-one with his opponent, even making a point to exchange cell phone numbers so they can hash out their differences. He's just not the typical fighter when it comes to trash talking, and seems to genuinely respect his opponents. Or when, if he doesn't, just lets his fists do the talking. Manny Pacquiao has fought twice since turning 40 years old on December 17, 2018, and 3 years after his first retirement, defeating Adrian Broner in January 2019 and defeating Keith Thurman in July 2019 to claim Thurman's WBA super welterweight title. The win over Thurman made Pacquiao the first four-time division champion in welterweight history and the oldest boxer to ever win a version of the world welterweight title. And it was the win over Thurman that had tongues wagging, as Pacquiao showed flashes of being the boxer he was in his prime, bloodying Thurman's nose early in the fight and delivering a body shot that people watching the fight felt in their living rooms. With the win over Thurman, Pacquiao improved to 62-7-2 in 71 career fights, with 39 wins by knockout. The poor kid from the Philippines has come a long way. Thanks for listening. Until next time, be good.